is gonna shot the watermelon.
Cause masturbation's good for your prostate. It lowers blood pressure and it helps you sleep.
Number 5 is Drawn Together. Drawn Together is a reality TV show comprised entirely of cartoon characters. Think Jersey Shore meets Animaniacs. This show is the epitome of filth. It's just straight up trash. Okay, so say we're looking at some kind of an offensive meter. If South Park is like a 9, then Drawn Together is like a 15. This show is like the most excessively offensive thing I've ever seen.
And I love it.
This is definitely not a show for everyone, or for most people for that matter, but the evil part of me just can't get enough of it. That being said, I will say that a lot of the jokes here are hit and miss. The hits hit hard, but the misses can get really bad. That being said, the show operates on the rate of like 60 jokes a minute, so more often than not there's a ton of stuff to laugh at. The characters can range from good to bad. Personally, my favorite was Spanky, whereas the worst by the end of the show I felt was Captain Hero. That being said, you shouldn't really watch this show for characters or story. There is good stuff to be found there, but honestly this is a show about the humor. Drawn Together is a show of ambitions. It sets out to be the blackest, most lowbrow show ever made, and it revels in its own filth and has a great time doing it. This show is just a ton of fun to watch, even though watching it objectively makes you a bad person. I will warn you that if you watch this, you will see a lot of gross out humor, some very poorly drawn boobs, and some way too well drawn penises. I should probably also mention that the third season is a bit of a downgrade from the first two. It still has its moments, but there are just a lot more misses. And then there's the movie. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't hate it. I didn't like it, but I kind of feel indifferent about it. I don't think it went too far, but I just think it wasn't very funny. It deserves the criticism it gets, but it just doesn't really make me mad. Back to the show though, I'm not really sure how to recommend it. I mean, if you play Cards Against Humanity, there's a decent chance you'll like it. I don't know, let me just show you some of my favorite jokes and then you can decide if you'll like it for yourself.
I'm proud to be your friend. This makes up for all them cracks about my breasts lactating chocolate milk.
No chocolate milk? Then what the hell have I been sucking on?
Batman? Oh no. You get tipsy at one cocktail party and do one little impression of his parents being murdered, and suddenly he won't return your phone calls.
Great! Now I'm gonna lose my insurance! I'll be more diseased than Dumpy the Waste Man! Kill me!
Hey, last call! Who wants to make it with the Tudors, girl?
Oh, not me.
As if.
Come we. Not a chance.
Rook, no.
Take off shirt.
Overall, Drawn Together is like sex with a crack whore. It's a lot of fun, it's naughty, and it feels great to let go, but just don't be surprised if you feel like you need a shower afterward.
To freedom of speech!
Fuck yeah! That's the shit!
I want to fuck the head off a fucking pig and rip its fucking guts out and then fuck its fuckity fuck.
Number 4 is Moral Orel. Now, I'm not going to talk very long about this show because I already made an in-depth video on it.
You should totally check out.
So in order to refrain from repeating myself, I'll just direct you to that. In it, I explain how this show is kind of a dramedy with a lot of mixed tones and that it's not for everyone. I think I covered almost all of my opinions of the show in that video, well, except I may not have stressed how funny the show is. Hey, look at how funny the show is!
Hey, Orel, what did you put for number 3 on the science test?
Jesus.
Ah, of course.
But I had to see you. Oh, Orel. Oh, tiny little female Christ. Our Father, which art in heaven.
You see, somehow you've turned things topsy-turvy, young man. You've made it inconvenient for the racists, not the racers. And at that point, why even discriminate?
Yeah! Really, the only thing holding it back in this list is just its rushed and underdeveloped ending. Other than that, though, I love the show to death, and I'd love to watch it over and 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 over
and over and over and over and over.
Okay, Clay, I get the point.
No, you don't!
And over and over and over.
3 is South Park. Now honestly, it'd be a crime to do a list like this without including South Park. I mean, at this point, do I even need to explain why it's on here? The show is a cultural landmark. It's the greatest medium of satire we have in our modern era. It pushed the limits of censorship in media. It mixes entertainment with actually important messages perfectly, and it's just really fucking funny. Not only that, but they can pull off good storytelling too. I mean, just look at the movie, Imagination Land, the Cthulhu trilogy, the Black Friday Game of Thrones episodes, and especially the last 2 seasons. Even though I'm not personally satisfied with their coverage of the 2016 election, the show is not really about what I want it to do. Matt Stone and Trey Parker do whatever they want, and they make fun of everything in a way that we need now more than ever. I'd recommend checking out the Nostalgia Critic's Top 11 South Park Episodes video. In it, he does a great job of explaining how important South Park is to our society. Same with Wisecrack's 2 videos on it. Like I said though, you already knew all that. I don't even need to say anything. It's fucking South Park.
Cartman, don't say use him, you big silly goose.
What did you say?
I just called Cartman a name. He's a silly goose.
Uh-huh. You do not say big silly goose. You call him an asshole like a normal kid.
But Dad, I was just trying to...
Stanley, you call your friend an asshole this instant.
Asshole?
That's better.
Don't call me an asshole, you son of a bitch.
Number 2 is the Boondocks. The Boondocks is not so much a great show as much as it's just the perfect show for me. I mean, it has everything I like. It has good animation, rap music, anime influences, funny characters, social commentary, extremism, black culture, dumb humor, smart humor, offensive jokes, some serious moments, cool action sequences, racism, and children swearing. The only thing it's really lacking to make it the penultimate show for me is the fact that there's no overarching storyline. But I mean, other than that, Jesus, it's like the creators know me. I really love the cast here. I mean, you have Immortal Technique, Black Bart Simpson, that nigga from Friday, the blackest white guy you've ever seen, the whitest black guy you've ever seen, and then there's Uncle Ruckus. This is the character that people really remember. He's probably the most racist character I've ever seen. Oh, so he's a black supremacist? No.
We must use these tools that the great God has given us to fight niggas. A whip, a noose, a nightstick, a branding iron. These things strike fear into a nigga's heart. A job application.
And before you get all uppity, relax. There's plenty of racism on both ends. And I love it.
Prick. Watch where you walking, bitch.
What did you... Wait a minute. I'm white.
Also, it's worth mentioning that this is by far the best looking show on the list, and not just because it looks like anime, but what it actually does with that style really impresses me. There are also some really cool shots in the series. I should probably also mention that I've only seen the first 3 seasons of the show. That's because I heard from multiple sources that season 4 is god-awful and that the show's creator left production. One day I might check out season 4 to see if it's as bad as people say, but I have no plans for it right now. Not to mention, the series features the late Sir Nate Dogg in what is probably the best original rap song to be featured in an American comedy show.
You just mad cause your ass is old. Motherfucker. First thing you do is just pick up the phone. Eat a dick, nigga. Living next to your home. Motherfucking grandpa, old nigga, it's on. Motherfucker.
Overall, The Boondocks is a really good show that turns to a great one if you just happen to be me.
Look, fuck you. Fuck the plane you flew in on. Fuck them shoes. Fuck those socks with the bell on it. Fuck your gay-ass fairy faggot accent. Fuck them cheap-ass cigars. Fuck your yuck-mouth teeth. Fuck your hairpiece. Fuck your chocolate. Fuck Guy Ritchie. Fuck Prince William. Fuck the Queen. This is America. My president is black and my Lambo is blue, nigga. Now get the fuck out of my hotel room. And if I see you in the street, I'm slapping the shit out of you.
Alright, so before we go into number 1, let's go over a few honorable mentions. First, there's Spawn, because like I said before, the show isn't a comedy. That being said, it's one of the best things ever, so give it a try. The Venture Brothers, because I'm only like 4 episodes into it, and so far it hasn't really amazed me. I'll let y'all know what I think when I'm a bit farther into it. The Simpsons and Clerks TV. 2 great shows that I didn't include because I didn't really think they qualified entirely as adult cartoons. I mean, neither one is any worse than some kind of sitcom like Everybody Everybody Hates Raymond or something, so to me they're not really adult. They are fucking good though. Family Guy and American Dad. These shows didn't really make the list because they're incredibly hit and miss. Personally, I think you're just better off watching individual scenes rather than full episodes. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. The show is good, but unfortunately I don't think I've ever been high enough to really watch it. Dick Figures. A hilarious comedy that I left off because it's a web series. That being said, go check it out. It's really good, and the movie is fucking spectacular. I mean, you know you're good when you have Ninja Sex Party doing your end credit song.
Dick figures, save the world, what do you think about that? Dick figures, you just watch them, so easy and fat.
And finally, The Haunted World of El Super Beasto. Almost everything I said about Drawn Together applies here. I love it, but others might not. The whole movie is about 80% porn, so don't let your embryos watch it. It's got great animation, and it doubles off as a musical. Unfortunately, it didn't make the list because it's a movie, not a TV show, and the competition was stiff enough as is. Stiff. So with those out of the way, and no good ideas for a transition, let's just get into number 1. And number 1 is Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is a story of a nihilistic, amoral, genius, alcoholic scientist named Rick Sanchez and his adventures with his awkward teenage grandson Morty. The show is basically Back to the Future and Futurama off its medication. This show is amazingly fucked up, and yet it does it in the most unique of ways. Now you may be wondering, why is it number 1? Well, I mean, come on. How can you not love Rick and Morty? It's hilarious, it's dark, it's smart, it has serious moments, it has an actual story, it has a good cast, and honestly, there's nothing like it. In fact, I go as far as to say that it's my second favorite American show right now, right behind Gravity Falls. The thing is, Gravity Falls I watch when I want to feel good, whereas Rick and Morty I watch when I want to feel really bad, in a good way. This show can get super dark and uncomfortable, but at least it's not quite as bad as like something like BoJack Horseman. Honestly, I'd say that Rick and Morty mixes its tones perfectly. The show will get dark like BoJack Horseman, but unlike BoJack Horseman, I never stop having a good time watching it. BoJack Horseman will unpleasantly remind me of my insecurities, whereas with Rick and Morty, I can just laugh at them. As for downsides to the show, I will say that I do not like the first episode, and the art style took a while to grow on me. That being said, it eventually did. The creature designs and the backgrounds are incredibly detailed, and the animation is very smooth and fluid. Honestly, Rick and Morty is one of those shows that deserves all the praise it gets, and I have to say that I'm excited as fuck for season 3. Overall, Rick and Morty is the kind of show that—
Get the fuck over here, Tim!
What the fuck?!
I need you for an adventure, Tim!
Who the fuck are you?!
I'm your grandpa! I'm your grandpa from
I was going to jail here, what are you—
Get the fuck out of here!
What the fuck?!
Come on, Tim! You and me, it's just gonna be... It's gonna be you and me, Tim. You and me forever. It's going on adventures all over the place. Oh my god, what is that, Tim? What's good, Nika? Do you know what that is, Tim? It's a beading from the planet Spleens, Tim. It's called a beading from planet Spleens. They're one of the most deadly parasites ever known in the universe, Tim. Will you take it up now? Shut up! Will you take it up now? For the good of everyone. What's really good?
Yeah, nigga, it's the 12 of this motherfucker. You know how we get, nigga. We wild in the club, motherfuckers. Everybody get crunk in Detroit too, nigga.
What did you say, nigga? Oh yeah! Look at you! You was popping all that good shit a second ago, then you got kicked in your chest! You eat a dick, nigga! You eat a dick!
It's extremely excruciatingly painful, but also in some strange way, suddenly pleasurable! Oh god, I've never experienced such intense agony in my life! Timmy, I need your help, Tim! Tim, this is the beginning of our adventures!
So yeah, adult cartoons are great. They do stuff, blah blah blah. Okay, so are y'all sick of top 10 lists yet? Good, because I'm finally gonna review something on this review show. So tune in next time to see me bitch and moan about the Legend of Korra. To quote the Greek philosopher Sargon of Akkad, I don't care if your asshole is red, I want you to feel every inch.
This is our world! This is our world! This is our world! This is our world!
Well, I mean, you might have to like wait a little bit while I get some other video. Oh, come on. Like, you wanna do what I do? Look at me, I'm juggling. You wanna juggle what I juggle? You wanna juggle what I juggle? You think you can juggle. Oh. But in all seriousness though, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support. My channel's growing pretty fast. New videos coming out soon, and I appreciate the fuck out of you guys. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to Papa. I have children to feed! Seriously though, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. This is Tim the Fanboy Philosopher, signing out.
Oh, a bag of weed, oh, everything is better with a bag of weed. You're a happy guy when you plant the seed, because everything is better with a bag.